Let's try to be naughty and access some invalid path. I'll try to access some random path like ABC. We know for this path, there are no routing configurations inside our application. Let's try to see what is going to happen. As soon as I press enter, boom, we are seeing a default error component that is being displayed by the React Router DOM library. Let me try to zoom this page. As you can see, the library is trying to display unexpected application error with the 404 status code. The library people, they also clearly highlighted, hey developer, you can provide a better UX than this when your app throws errors by providing our own error boundary or error element prop on your route. This means instead of showing the default error page from the library, we can show a better error page so that the end user experience is always going to be consistent. Let's try to define our own error page, which we can display by defining these error element prop on our route. For each of the routing configurations that we have done, they're going to accept an property with the name error element. So the same error element I can also mention against each of the child paths. Like here, just after this element, I can mention error element property. If you have a requirement to show different error pages for different routes, then you can try to mention this error element against each of these routing configurations. But usually this is not a recommended approach. You should always display a same error page regardless where the error is happening inside an application. So that's why it is always recommended to define the error element configurations on the parent path, so that even if any of the children components, if they throw an error, the error details will be elevated to the parent level and the parent is going to take care of displaying the error page. Just after this element, I'm going to type error element, and to this we can mention a component that we want to display whenever an error happening inside our application. Let me create a new component with the name error page. So I'm going to mention the file name as errorpage.jsx. Here first I'm going to create a simple functional component which is going to display this error page content. Now this error page component I can try to configure inside the main.jsx. Against this error element property, I can mention error page followed by, we need to mention comma as well, otherwise you're going to get compilation error. So let me save this. Now if I go to the browser, this time if I try to access the same invalid path, our component is going to be displayed with the content error message. But this is not the content that we want to display. Instead, we want to display some beautiful page so that the end user will have same consistent user experience. Let's try to update the error page content. First, I'm going to define class name to the div. The class names will be flex followed by flex-call. After this, I'll try to get rid of this error page content. Now, in between these div elements, first, I'll try to display the header component, because even inside the error page as well, we want to display the same header followed by footer. The reason why we need to mention here is, if you go to the main.jsx, for this path, the element is always going to be the app. Inside the app, we are mentioning header and footer. Similarly, the error page component that we have defined just now, it should also have the same header footer if you want to give the same user experience to the end user. Whatever outlet we have mentioned here, this is not going to be applicable because the error element belongs to the parent but not to this child component. That's why please make sure to mention the header and footer inside the error page. In between these header and footer, I'm going to paste few lines of code. You can get the same code from the GitHub repo as well. I'm not typing all this code in front of you just to save some time. I hope you understand and you are fine. Let me paste the content. As you can see, in between the header and footer, I'm trying to have a main with this class name followed by div with this styling. Inside this div, I'm again going to have another div where I'm trying to use the page title component. To this page title, I'm going to pass some property with the name error title, which we are going to populate in few minutes. Followed by, we're going to have another div which is going to display the actual error message with the help of a paragraph. And we're also going to have an image which is going to be displayed inside our error page. And towards the end, I'm going to have a link which an end user can use to go back to the home page or to the root path. So that's why I have mentioned link to as /. Maybe here we can try to mention home for a better experience. And after the main, we have footer. I need to mention few import statements. First, I need to make sure I'm importing page title component. Next, I'll try to import the image details that are required to this image tag. So for this image tag, we're trying to pass a variable name error image as a source. Let's try to have an import statement for this. I'm trying to paste an import statement here. If you see, we're trying to load an image details into this variable name error image, the same we are trying to use here. Inside the assets folder, I have created an util folder, and this util subfolder, it is going to have an error.png file. You can get this image and subfolder from the GitHub repo. If I go to the assets folder, here I have a subfolder with the name util, and I also have some other images that we may require in the upcoming sections. For now, we're trying to use this error.png. Please make sure you also have similar folder setup under the assets. Now I will try to save this file. As a next step, we can try to test this error page. But before that, let me try to send some dummy information here. Instead of error title, I'm going to send empty string. The same I am going to do for error message as well. I'll try to just mention empty string. Now I can go and test this component. I'm getting a blank page. Let me see what is the reason. Seems I have missed importing the link inside my error page component. Let me import link from the React Router DOM library. I'll save this and go to the browser. This time you'll see we are getting some error page. And here the footer is not properly aligned because the content of our component is less. That's why the footer is coming up. Maybe what we can do is we can try to set a minimum height to this error component. So here, just after this flex column, I'm going to mention min-h and with my own custom value. That's why I'm trying to mention square brackets followed by I'll type 980px. So let me save this and go to the browser. This time the footer is properly aligned. Here we have a button which will take the end user to the home page. But if the end user somehow access an invalid path, again he will be shown this page. But here we're not showing any useful information to the end user about what happened, why he's seeing this error page. That's where we can use one of the hook provided by the React Router DOM library. The hook name is useRouteError. Whenever an error is happening due to the invalid routes or due to any other runtime errors happening inside the child components, all such information will be available inside these useRouteError. So let me import this. Followed by using this useRouter, I'm going to create a constant with the variable name as routeError. On the right hand side, I need to invoke the hook function, which will give me the error details inside this route error object. So now with the help of this route error, I can try to populate the page title along with the details that I want to display under this paragraph. So let me mention curly braces, and with the help of this route error, I'm going to invoke a variable with the name status. In the similar lines, here also I'm going to mention curly braces, and let me use route error. By using the same, I'm going to invoke the data variable name. So if I save this and go to the browser, this time you'll be able to see some meaningful information we're trying to display. So this is the information that we are trying to display with the help of page title, and this is the information that we're displaying with the help of paragraph. So let me go to the dark mode. Everything is working properly. This is how right now we are trying to handle when an end user is trying to access an invalid path. The same error page component we are going to enhance further in the upcoming lectures, so that anytime if one of the child components, if they throw some runtime error to the parent component, that information we can try to show to the end user with the help of this error page. Let me go to the home path and try to access some different path. This time I'll try to mention my name, Madan. As you can see here, it clearly giving an information 404 no route matches for the URL/Madan. Let me test this button as well. If I click on this back to home, I am landed onto the home page. I hope you are clear around the steps that we have followed to implement an error page inside our application. So at the parent path level, we have used this error element property, and using the same, we're trying to render error page component. Inside the error page component, we can define all the UI related logic that we want to display to the end user. Since the component will not have no clue around why the error happened, we can fetch error details by using this useRouteError hook. Using this object, we can invoke status and data to display the error information onto the UI.